Good morning everyone and welcome to Sydney, Australia. We've been back for a couple of weeks now, but I thought it was a good idea to go through the cost of living from our holiday in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Obviously I'm not in Vietnam at the moment because it's 7 degrees this morning and we are live. I sound like a news reporter. We're live at Western Sydney University at the Warrington campus where there's some parkland, and I'll do a bit of a tour. Oh, I've just seen there's a kangaroo. There's a couple of kangaroos. I don't know if you can see them. I might go walking shortly. But a beautiful space to walk. There's not a lot of people who walk here, and it's quite relaxed, serene, quiet. Any time of day really. Sometimes people come here for the kangaroos, and I don't know if you can see them in the distance, but you've got some kangaroos here as well. So excuse me throughout the vlog if I end up just randomly excited about the kangaroos that I can see. Oh, and there you go, just hopping away from me. But anyway, so today's vlog is going to be really about the cost of living in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. I know that when I go to Vietnam, or when I first went to Vietnam in 2018, the prices were relatively cheap, and I know going back in 2024 in January, I was a bit nervous about how much had changed, if the cost of living had changed in regards to transportation, in regards to food. So hopefully this vlog kind of unpacks all of that for you. I'm not going to wait until the end of the vlog to tell you how much I spent during my trip, but on my trip, I spent 750 Australian dollars in terms of food, in terms of transportation, in terms of spending money, like money that I brought to Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. I spent 750 Australian dollars, okay? In addition to that, we had our Airbnb, and our Airbnb was located in District 3. Now, District 3 is right next to District 1. It's right next to all of the tourist destinations. It was around a 15 to 20 minute walk. So it was pretty, it was a pretty good, accessible location. And I've got some videos, I think, that I've got of our accommodation on the screen at the moment, but for the 10 days and the 9 nights that we were there, it was around 392 Australian dollars. And I'll put the Vietnamese dong and the US dollars on the screen, but that was a really big bargain. So for 9 nights, 392 Australian dollars. And everything was there. We had a security guard at the front. We were on level 3. Someone did our laundry for us while we were there as well. I don't know if that was part of the Airbnb package or we were supposed to pay, but I got in contact with the person who was looking after the Airbnb, and they said all good, we didn't have to pay. So that was really lovely of them. We were just above I think it was like a beefsteak restaurant as well, but it was really accessible. Opposite the road from us was a co-op supermarket. We had like KFC down the road from us. We had a GS25, Family Mart. I was thinking 7-Eleven, but they don't have 7-Eleven anymore in Ho Chi Minh City. So it was a Family Mart as well, so all within walking distance. So it was a really good location. I guess it depends what you're looking for if you're coming to Ho Chi Minh City. If you're going to be out and about for most of the time, then you don't really need to be going into some great hotels, because your Airbnbs, you'll find they're actually pretty efficient. I don't know what the word is, but they're pretty good. I'm going to interrupt this video because I can see the sun starting to peak. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I'll go. Oh, and you can see the kangaroos as well. There they are. I'm not going to bother them, but I don't know if you can see the sun starting to peek through the trees. Yeah, so that's how much we spent on our accommodation, 392 Australian dollars. Now I do have a list. Forgive me because I'm going to be referring to my notes as well. Notes. Okay, so the other thing that we spent on was our Grab. Now our main transportation, I had a card that I linked to for most of the trip, and I'll go through that in another video, but essentially it was a card that was linked, so I didn't have to give cash for most of my trip when I was using transportation. In terms of like food, street vendors and everything, absolutely yes, you do need cash. The Grab car Grab bike app I linked it to a card. So that was 125 Australian dollars that I spent during that time. For most of it we did use, because there was two of us, for most of it we used Grab Car, and with Grab Car they are a bit pricier. However, in saying that, compared to taxis here in Australia where the base fare is, I don't even know, in 2008 they were like 7 Australian dollars. I don't know how much they are now, but I don't even know if there is a base fare in Ho Chi Minh City. There probably is, but from District 1 to District 2, which is around 5 to 8 kilometers, it was roughly around 5 Australian dollars to transport us one way. Now that price fluctuated as well depending on if it was a peak time, but for the most of it, it was around 5, sometimes 10 Australian dollars one way. But you know, compared to the prices back home, that's pretty good. If you were to catch a grab bike, they are a lot cheaper. So when I used to live in Vietnam in 2018, they cost me around 2 Australian dollars to travel from District 1 to District 2, and guess what, they're the same price as well you know, today. So I was looking from District 1 to District 2 to Tao Dien to be specific, and it was around 35,000 Australian, 35,000 Vietnamese dong. So very, very similar prices to what they were 6 years ago, which is, you know, fantastic, especially when you come to Australia and like the cost of living and everything has gone up so dramatically. So transportation around 125 Australian dollars. I'm going to go through the shopping. So the shopping now. Truth be told, we probably didn't need to go shopping because we didn't bring on our flights across. We didn't actually pay for baggage or anything. It was just our carry-on luggage that we had. So we spent around $90, $91 Australian, and I've got the Vietnamese prices down the bottom over here. But that was buying things that, like shirts. We went to the markets as well, and we bought a couple of things like socks. And we also bought copycat versions of Nike shorts as well, and they were 100,000 Vietnamese dong for those, which is around 6 to 7 Australian dollars for those shorts, which are pretty good during summertime, not for winter, which is right now because it is freezing. There's the sun. Sorry to interrupt everyone, but there's the sun. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there you go. And you got the kangaroos as well. Haircut. Now the haircut was a pretty good price because the average haircut here at a barber, or you know, like at a hairdresser or a salon, is around 40 Australian dollars. I was talking to a couple of friends and they were saying that they spend around 40 Australian dollars at the moment. But in Vietnam, you can go get a men's haircut at a proper hair salon barber for 10 Australian dollars, which includes a 30-minute head massage and shampoo as well. So that's pretty good value. And I think I've got a video as well of when Ed and I actually went to the barbers, but it was only 10 Australian dollars per person for a haircut and also a head massage and a shampoo, which is great. Speaking of massages, now this is a rough guide. You could probably get it for a lot cheaper, a lot more expensive, but I'm going average. We spent around 2 million Vietnamese dong on massages. Now to put that into a bit of context, that was a total of 4 massages altogether as well. So it wasn't just one, it was so we did one of those massages together, which counts for 2 people. Ed wanted the Thai version of the massage because I think they do more like strenuous, don't know if that's the right word, but he got one that cost a bit more. It's probably like $3 more. So his one was around 650,000 Vietnamese dong. My one was a traditional Vietnamese massage, which was 580,000. Now on top of that, we got our 500,000 Vietnamese dong for 2 people foot scrub, which included a foot massage and like a heel scrub as well. So I've included that all together. And then when I first arrived, so I think on my first day, I also got a head, neck and shoulder massage as well. So that was roughly 270,000 Vietnamese dong. So I'll calculate all of that. I've said 2 million Vietnamese dong altogether, because I did tip people as well, because and Ed tipped people as well. So they were really good massages, to be honest with you. There was a lot of strength, and there were such tiny girls as well, so there was a lot of strength that they put into us. Well, I'm quite big. Ed isn't very big compared to me anyway, but I know I'm quite big, but they were like really going at it. So I put their 2 million Vietnamese dong, but like I keep saying, you could probably spend a lot less than that for 4 massages. It averages out at around 500,000 Vietnamese dong, which is 30 Australian dollars for a massage, which is, you know, cheap as chips compared to here. You go for a massage for 1 hour and it's 75 Australian dollars. So I'd say that's still a bargain. Now we also got, well, no, not we. I got a manicure and a pedicure, and each of those was 50,000 Vietnamese dong, which is what, 3 Australian dollars. I've listed it below. You'll see the details right over here for where I got that done, and you can actually see their prices, their up-to-date prices on their Facebook page, because that's just how I found them as well. I was looking for somewhere within the area that we were staying to get a manicure and a pedicure, and they were the prices. Now the most touristy thing, because we've lived in Vietnam before, but the most touristy thing that we did was go on a sightseeing bus. You know, they're 150,000 Vietnamese dong, and they take you all around District 1. They take you over to District 2 as well, so you can get a good glimpse of like the Ho Chi Minh City skyline too. But 150,000 per person, and I paid for 3 people, so I spent 450,000, which is, I can't quite remember, I think it's under 30 Australian dollars, but I've got that down the bottom over there, that conversion, to help us out. I think I mentioned everything, but the total is around 377-ish dollars, and so that means that the rest of the money, which I think is just over half, 350 Australian dollars, we spent on food, on coffee, on alcohol. And you know, like, I'm just gonna be real, we don't really spend a lot on alcohol, but when we go out, like there was probably one night that we went out to like a club or like an acoustic kind of bar, and we spent on alcohol and like snacks on the side, but we weren't really monitoring that kind of part of our trip, the food, the going to cafes, because that's really embedded in the culture of Vietnam, going out for food, in particular going out for coffees. We loved exploring places that had different vibes for coffee, so I've got a couple of photos and videos I'd like to share with you guys, but a lot of Instagrammable places that we went to, and we didn't really check the prices. You could probably get away with spending $10 to $20 altogether for 2 people, which is really good, because you go to you know, you go to somewhere cheap here in Sydney, and I would say that it's around $50 for 2 people, and that's just getting like a burger from Grilled with someone, and a drink and chips, so like a combo. But like, I'll give you an example. KFC, which was only a couple of meters away from us, was 10 Australian dollars for 2 of us, and you know, we weren't holding back. Like, we were buying enough to feed like 3 probably, but really good value, 10 Australian dollars. There were a couple of other places we went to, a Filipino restaurant in Tao Dien, and altogether we spent around 10 Australian dollars for the 2 of us as well. So essentially, there were some days that we were going hard out and we just didn't care. There was some days that we would look for cheap eats, but look, really, 350 for not only food, but and we didn't cook at all during the whole 9 nights, 10 days. We didn't cook at all, so we were out for every single meal, and we spent that, and that was for 2 people, so that was pretty good value as well. So altogether we spent 750. I spent 750 Australian dollars, and I would consider that really good, considering how much you would pay if you went and did all of those things that we did while we were in Vietnam. If you did it in Australia, it cost you a lot more than 750 Australian dollars, like going to get a massage every second, third day, you know, going to a restaurant, going out for coffees every single day. So I'd consider that pretty cheap and a pretty good bargain. But that's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully that helps you in planning your trip. You know, if you got any questions, please feel free to comment down below. And if you're new to this channel, thank you so much for your support and for watching this video. Please feel free to like and subscribe. I'm gonna go enjoy this beautiful view and this beautiful morning by going for a walk for the rest of it. And I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.